Welcome everyone to another episode of FitFam. This is Miss Natural Olympia, Hilary,
And this is Doug, the formulator.
and we're really excited about the season right now. It's the holiday season. Just came off of Thanksgiving and family, and nothing better.
Nothing better. I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite. Do you know that?
I did
I
not
mean,
know that.
Christmas, Halloween. Christmas is a close second, but Thanksgiving is my most
I
favorite.
can see that because of family and cooking.
Yeah, and I love when we host so that I can cook all the things and bake all the things.
And it's not what this episode's about, but since we're just kind of coming off of Thanksgiving and that, we had a great experience because we had our whole family together for the first time, my side in 15 years, and then our immediate family together, and some of our traditions that we're able to have everyone. And we were just talking about, the cool factor of the things that keep you going in life and keep you moving, and, your faith, your family, your friends, and experiences with them, and trying to create experiences. And I think that's one big thing that I know you growing up, that your parents worked to do with you guys. And for our family, it was just so much about the experiences, and mom and dad sacrificing for experiences, and not necessarily financially, but just working, creating cool little things and parties and stuff. And just think that's so cool, and such an important part of life, to not lose the fact that experiences are really critical, and don't get caught up in the day-to-day grind so much.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So today, though, we're going to be talking.
About fasting.
Why are we doing that? Why are we talking about fasting?
Well, we're going to talk about fasting because we happen to be 40 hours into a fast, and I think we're both feeling it a little differently this time.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And usually by this time, I'm the second day, and we'll get into it. It's a little tough for most people, right? Like I'd say well over 90%. And I think because I ate more food and some foods I don't normally eat, this last few weeks, I'm enjoying my body,
yeah.
kind of cleansing from that, which is not the norm for me. And so I think that's why I'm feeling good right now. Still getting rid of some of the extra sweet potato,
Sweet potato casserole.
casserole. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I've perfected that recipe.
But anyways, I think because we're in it, it's easy to talk about. But we were talking about the reasons to fast, and we're having this great discussion. Like, oh my gosh, let's do that podcast, because we've done a podcast on fasting before, where we went through a lot of details about the hours and different things. But we'd like to make it a little bit more broad, to bring some, hopefully, some motivation and inspiration for you to do fasting periodically, and hopefully we'll give you some nuggets and some things to really, spur the thought in your mind of, yeah, I really should do that, and we'll make it easy for you as we go through it. So why don't we talk, I guess, right off the bat, what are some of the benefits of fasting?
Yeah, let's talk about the benefits. Let's also kind of talk about easing your way into fasting, because it can,
Mhm.
we're talking about long fasts. So we're talking about fasts 24, 48, 72 plus. Those are the kind of the fasts that we're discussing today. And if you've never done a true 24-hour fast, that's where I would think everybody should start. It's a great place to start if you've never done a true 24-hour fast. And we're talking about a food fast. Water is always
Present.
maintained
Yeah.
through these fasts.
Yeah, and some people call them water fasts, but basically we call it a macronutrient fast, where we're not taking in carbs, proteins, and fats. You can take micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals, and of course we want a ton of water. So that's the fasting. I'm glad you went there. That's what we're talking about. And with a 24-hour fast, isn't it amazing how many people we talk to? Even one of our children was like, they're like, well, we haven't done 24-hour fast before. I'm like, we grew up fasting every month.
Yeah.
But they're like, nope, I always made it like 16 hours or whatever,
Or
until,
2 meals,
yeah, or
and
like
then,
after
yeah.
church, whatever it might be. And it's really the key to what we're calling long fasting, even a 24-hour fast. A lot of the benefit comes in those last 2 or 3 hours,
Yeah.
like the major benefit in the body. So when we're talking fasting, 24 really should be the minimum if you're going to do a fast, to get some major benefit that you're not getting from, just going intermittent fasting or short-term fasting, that type stuff. 24 really is a good number.
Yeah, and so some of the benefits, of course, cell autophagy,
What
um,
is celletophagy, pretty much?
cleansing of the cells. So our cells become more communicative,
Yeah,
like they
that's good.
communicate better with one another, and we get rid of a lot of garbage.
A lot of garbage. It's kind of like your plate if you didn't wash it. Like, oh, I cleaned it off,
Mm,
right? And you like, well, I can reuse it. Well, it's not really clean, right? You need to go in and really wash it. And that's what cell autophagy, from just a visual aspect, is really cleaning that cell, not just, you know, wiping it off type thing.
I like that.
Like that?
A dopamine reset, which could be really important and life changing for a lot of people. I know one of the reasons that I love, and I'll say the other reason in a minute, but one of the reasons I do love is the dopamine reset. Because as you know, and dopamine is our feel good hormone, feel good molecule,
Chemical,
chemical.
brain chemical.
It's our feel good chemical, and you can get a dopamine hit in all kinds of ways.
Right.
Shopping sometimes is a dopamine hit. Extreme sports, exercise is a
Yep.
dopamine hit. You know,
But you also get it from the processed foods. Like, it's very specific, the chemicals put into our processed foods today that actually cause that dopamine hit. So you're like, oh, I like that.
right, which can be a real issue.
It really could be an issue.
And it can be a real issue because all of a sudden, you could get a dopamine hit from a, processed cookie that you just take a bite of. Well, the more you do that, the more it takes to feel the same,
That's it.
you know, hit, right?
Right.
Um,
And so
so
that reset's important, is to keep it to where you're sensitive to where it doesn't take much dopamine to feel good and move on, instead of having to do more and more and more of anything.
of
Right.
anything,
Of
right?
anything.
Right. Sensitivity to insulin, which
Mm,
is really great. Gut health,
absolutely.
in a fast. Um,
Insulin, can I mention something there?
Please.
I think, we have a lot of people that are diabetic, take insulin, and many times the doctors don't tell them that you really should do everything you can lifestyle-wise to not use as much insulin, because the more insulin you take, the shorter your lifespan. That's just straight up what it is. But a lot of times people aren't told that. They're like, oh, I can fix it. I can eat sugar and do all that and just take more insulin. Well, even for those that aren't diabetics, the same scenario. You don't want your body to use up the insulin. You want to be sensitive. So a little bit of insulin goes a long ways and pushes the sugar out of the bloodstream and where it needs to be. And that's really important for at least a 24-hour fast, is to be able to start resetting that insulin so that you are more sensitive to it. And because it is about life and death.
Right, for sure. Also antioxidant production,
Yeah, people don't know that, I
yeah,
think. That's really important.
which also helps with, cancer cells and all of that.
Really good.
So anxiety and depression.
Mm, that's really, I think, overlooked once in a while, because a lot of people say, well, if I don't eat, I get anxious and I get depression. When really, if they do a fast, it actually resets the body and puts it in more of a homeostatic position that gets rid of a lot of anxiety and stress. Sometimes anxiety stress is nothing more than the cells themselves not vibrating at the right frequency. They're actually have stress themselves on the cell from just getting bombarded daily with too much food and processed chemicals that it's dealing with. And that shaking of the cell, right, correlates to the whole body. Those, like we always say, the red blood cell in the body is a microcosm of the whole. And so if you can reset that individual cell throughout the body, then the body resets. And that anxiety, depression, really, that's one of the major benefits, I think, of just even a 24-hour fast. Quite often, it's just resetting, especially if you're coming off of prescription drugs from surgeries or whatever reason, or addictions, things like that.
I like it. And then the increased production of HGH and an increased production of as much as 500%.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. So as we get older, that benefit becomes even more intense. That's a great benefit.
Right. Because human growth hormone, as we age, the more our body can naturally produce it. That's major anti-aging, which we all love. And so you're exactly right. 500% is a huge boost, not by taking any extra nutrients, but by the fact that you're doing the fast. And we're learning more now. There's some great new research out that shows that there's things called postbiotics, and postbiotics are the creation of certain nutrients in the body, and that happens also in fasting. And some of those nutrients are like ornithine, citrulline. Those are specific nutrients that the body uses for like nitric oxide, growth hormone, things like that. Cool.
Love it. And then immunity and accelerated healing, which I feel like those kind of go hand in hand, right? Um, and so for myself, sometimes a fast, I love a fast because I love being more sensitive to sugar. I'll get in the habit of so when I'm in prep and we're my diet is very clean, and I have meals every so often throughout the day, so I'm in a constant, state of eating all of the healthy things and getting exactly what my body needs. And sometimes when we're done competing, I allow too much of the sugars, way too many. And if I go a prolonged period of time, I find that it does exactly what sugar and high fructose corn syrup do. I want more, I crave more, I
Mm.
eat more, I want more, I crave more, I eat more. And so it's just this pattern. And I feel like once I do a 24 to 72-hour fast, I really reset my sensitivity. And as long as I don't jump back into the refined sugars, man, I feel good for
Yeah.
a really long time.
And let's go into that a little bit. What is it that causes that? We talked about, you mentioned the dopamine and that, but I want to talk about the thing that I'm really, really big on. And in fact, this weekend we're going to be talking to 600 to 800 people, and I'm going to hit hard in this group, this subject, and it is based on the chemicals in the body called ghrelin and leptin. And ghrelin and leptin, the easiest way to remember it is ghrelin and leptin are there to be able to make it so that when you have food and it's absolutely, what you need, and when you don't need any more of those carbs, proteins, fats, whatever it might be, ghrelin and leptin, if they're balanced, it sends the signal and says, hey, you're safe, you
You're
just feel
good.
good. You
Yeah,
feel good and you're good. And that's the way it should be.
right.
But anytime ghrelin leptin is off a bit, what happens is you can crave more, especially if leptin with the L, leptin is lower, right? And ghrelin greater, the G being greater, is higher.
I love explaining this because a lot of people, myself included, are like, I just can't help it. I just want more. I'm not full. I'm
Mm,
just so hungry. And it's your fault, but it's also not your fault when you look at it that way, right?
right.
It's an actual physiological
Yeah,
reaction.
reaction, ghrelin leptin. And so what causes that? And what's interesting is, with our big movement, the fight against the great American food fraud, one of the big frauds that happened was the tobacco industry learned that, and a lot of people don't know, there's over 4,000 chemicals that were put in tobacco. Well, why is that? You have nicotine already, you have tobacco, that can be addicting, like we were talking about
Right.
earlier. But they added those chemicals, 4,000 of them, right? A lot of them now are banned because they're so carcinogenic, cancer causing. But why did they add all those? Well, one of the main reasons they added all those chemicals was to create an imbalance with ghrelin and leptin. And that was to, again, increase ghrelin, lower leptin that would make you crave it more. So now you have the craving of the addiction of tobacco, nicotine, but all these chemicals brought this additional craving in so that you just more and more and more. So you do one cigarette, you do the next, you do the next, you do the next. And you just want to keep doing it all day long. And that came to messing with your ghrelin leptin response. Well, when the tobacco companies bought the food companies, they brought that same chemical technology to disrupt ghrelin and leptin to the foods. And
Hmm.
that's one of the huge, biggest problems with foods today, in America especially, because most of these chemicals are banned in other countries, is that they're messing with your ghrelin leptin when they're putting in, oh, it's just something double stabilize it. Oh, it's a preservative. And they've thrown it in there under what's called the GRAS list, generally recognized as safe through the FDA. And the key to understand is that our foods, when we eat processed foods, increase ghrelin, lower leptin to make us crave them more. And the reason it's important to do a fast quite often, at least a 24-hour fast, is you want to go in and reset ghrelin and leptin, just like we reset the insulin receptors and that in the body, so that it'll create that balance. And if you come out of a fast, and I think Hilary will talk about in a minute here about what foods to eat coming out of a fast. If you reset and start eating healthy coming out of the fast and the right foods, um, then they can stay set, and then you have this jump start. A lot of people say, I start eating healthy and I just can't. I go back, I have the cravings. Well, do a fast, reset, and then if you start eating healthy, you're going to find that you don't have the cravings as much because of ghrelin leptin balance. And that's one of the biggest food frauds today that have happened is the influx of those chemicals into our food supply and why it's critical to work to eat healthier, but do a fast once in a while to reset. And that's actually why we're doing the fast right now.
Yeah, I feel like one of the best benefits that I have when I do a fast is that my cravings just completely disappear. My cravings for sugar go away. I no longer want sugar in the way that I uh, do when I've had too much sugar.
Mm.
And what I was saying is when we're in season and then we have a meal that's really sugar heavy or not the best meal, a cheat meal or a treat meal, I get right back on. And so then it's not as big of issue because, the gut bacteria is still good. We're not
Yeah.
killing off, anything. We're not making all of these new uh, cravings for sugar with all
Right.
these like little bad guy bacterias.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's when you go too long. It's when you do over and over again and sugar over and over again, high fructose corn syrup and all of the things. So I do love a fast for that.
Yeah. And I think that, really focusing on the concept of cleansing is critical. And since we're kind of on that you think of the cell and you want to cleanse it, you got the insulin, you got the ghrelin leptin. The other thing that we're really big on that the new research is on, so much so that we spent years to help develop an enzyme for it, are the plastics problems
Mm-hmm.
that's going on
Mm-hmm.
right now. And
Yeah.
it's a
So,
huge problem.
yeah, huge problem. So you're talking about Chemzyme?
Like Chemzyme,
Mm-hmm.
basically what's happening though is there's so many plastics in our food supply that now there's a study that came out that showed that they haven't measured any human in
Mm,
America's blood in the last few years that doesn't have phthalates or plastics. Phthalates is a chemical that is used to create plastics that in the body. You're like, well, so what? Well, these plastics, these phthalates are coating the cell, and they're also coating like the ovaries in women, testes in men.
right.
And that's why it's causing such they're called endocrine disruptors. Um, and it's really hard to completely get rid of this film, this almost biofilm, if you want to call it that, in the cells, even just through healthy eating. You need to go in and, you know, Windex them, clean the cell out and
Right.
clean those plastics, those phthalates out. And fasting is a great way to do it, but taking certain enzymes like Chemzyme and that while you're fasting that will go in and like they have nothing else to do but go in and cleanse those plastics out.
Yeah, so let's talk about why fasting
Mm,
works really for all of these different benefits. Is it the fact that your body's not having to break down and work on the food that you're consuming and it can go after other things within the body that are a priority? Kind of explain that because even in the aspect of faster healing and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely it. 100%. What you're saying is that digesting food is many people will say the most important function in the entire body. You're like, well, breathing, eating, breathing, heartbeat, all that stuff. Well, the bottom line is if you don't get food digested down to usable amino acids, glucose and fatty acids, right, then you die. And the fact is, usually people aren't dying because of that. There's food available, but because the food isn't getting broken down all the way, we don't die, but we get disease. And so the body knows that and it wants to digest our food at any cost. And so it'll raise the white blood cell count to help digest the food. It's called digestive leukocytosis, where your digestion system is forcing the body to make white blood cells as if you're like when
Mhm.
you're sick. The body will shut down things like we talk about coming off Thanksgiving, people wanting to take naps after
Yeah,
the
you're
food comes.
exhausted. Yeah.
Yeah. That's because the body like, hey, we don't need these other functions. We need to digest the food. So it takes all your energy away. So just understand how important digestion is. And that's kind of leads to this concept then. Well, if that's that important, the body's using all this energy, let's take that away for a bit. Let's take the digestion of food away. And then the body's like, okay, what do we do with all this work we've been doing to digest our food? Oh, we can cleanse these two. We can go back and do the spring cleaning. We can be able to make these things happen. Oh, we have these extra enzymes and nutrients that you can take while you're fasting to aid in the process of cleansing the cells, of cleaning the liver and the kidneys, helping the brain, the blood-brain barrier so you can think clear. It's just the process of taking away all of that excess noise and work from the body so that it has nothing else to do but cleanse and repair. And like you said, even heal.
I
No.
love that. Yeah. So, sometimes that it might be a good time to fast is when you're having foggy thinking.
Mm.
That's a good indicator. When your food has been a little less clean than normal, excessive sugars,
Like
when
during
you
the holidays.
like during the
Why not
holidays.
do a 24-hour fast a couple times before the new year?
Hmm.
Just to do it and get cleansed out because there's probably going to be a little neighbors bring over cookies, different things. Even if you're trying real hard, there's going to be probably
There'll
something.
probably be things, extra stress in your life
Mm.
when you've, had even work stress, family stress, and that does seem to happen a lot around the holidays because there's so many extras going on at this time, right?
Yeah, and people always talk about family stress. Like you haven't seen family for a long time. They come and it's a little stressful. You live different lifestyles and things like that. But what was interesting yesterday and today is talking to all of our clients. And so far it's been pretty much 10 for 10 where the clients have said, you know what, I couldn't wait to get back in the office on Monday. I was out of my groove for almost a full week and I was worried. And then they had stress from not working, let alone
Right.
work stress. It was the
Right.
opposite. And they just felt getting back and getting, into the groove again helped them. And so there was extra stress from the opposite of what we think by actually not working.
Right.
So
Agreed.
bottom line is they're stressed because it's a different time of year.
Right. Right. And the routine is different. So anyway, so those are all some really great times to incorporate fasting. One thing that I think would be really beneficial is a 24-hour fast every month.
Mhm.
Everybody can fit that in. That seems to be something that is doable. And then if once you've done a 24-hour fast, uh, allowing it to go into a 36-hour fast, right?
Absolutely.
And then working your way up, of course. And we always recommend talking to your health professional about fasting and your what's best for your health.
Absolutely. And maybe even educating them if needed. A lot of people that, are like, I'm worried about blood sugar, I'm worried about this. And if you look at the research, it actually helps with all those things. So you might need to help educate them a bit. But yes, talk to your health professional. The thing is 24. I like the 36. And a lot of people, like you'd mentioned, it was really good. Like, hey, if you're at 24 hours and actually you get started in the evening, why not just go to sleep? Like, get that extra little
A little benefit.
benefit and being able to do that. But there's actually an easy way to do these fasts that we'll share with you that's free to do. But one other thing I wanted to mention was shock proteins and those
Yeah, we talked
benefits.
about that. Go into that for us.
Well, basically, shock proteins are chemicals in the body that come and they do cleansing of the cells. They help repair. They do all the things you had mentioned that fasting does. And they can be created without fasting necessarily. Shock proteins can be created by that's why people do the cold plunge and they do the sauna and the infrared. But shock proteins can be caused by shocking the body any way possible. We
Right.
talked about we every holiday we'll do something in the gym called holiday 100s, right? It's where we do 100 reps of each exercise. Well, that's probably not good to do every day, but we create these extra shock proteins every once in a while, and those shock proteins go in and cleanse and
Hmm.
heal and create better stimulus. Well, you can also create a shock protein because you're not going to fast all the time. Fasting creates shock proteins. So a 24-hour, 48, 72-hour fast creates shock proteins. You get these added chemicals that are created during a fast to benefit the body. And the benefit of shock proteins while you're fasting versus any other time is, again, you've taken the energy from digesting food away so the body can use those shock proteins even more to recuperate, to heal the body, to really help it. So there's just another reason. But how can people easily fast? What tips and
Okay,
tools would
so
you
tips and tools. I would say one of the best tips that for me that has worked is starting a fast in the evening.
give?
I
Mhm.
feel like that is helpful because then you get into bed and then you have the benefit of the 8 hour sleep. So so starting your fasts in the
It
evening
is
for
mental to think
me.
up. I'm already 8 hours into it. I can go.
Yeah, it's like I have a jump start on the fast. That has always helped. Also creating a routine where you're busy and you have things that you have to do. For Doug, it's great to be in the office. For him, it would be more difficult to start a fast on the weekend because being at home is a little more difficult for Doug because food is there and he's thinking about food. When he's in the office, he's busy and he's working and his brain is busy. So he's thinking less about food.
Yeah, especially in our home because you do so good about having fresh fruit out and things.
Right.
So it's not just, okay, I'm just not going to open the refrigerator door. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
So
Absolutely.
yeah, your routine and being busy. So if you are somebody that's in the home more often, like I'm in the home more often, I try to create projects throughout that time that I want to get done. This time we're trying to get Christmas out. Reorganizing things is a really good time because you can get lost in that.
Mhm.
So those are some things for me as well. We do the glutathione, of course, which is the little effervescent, which can help because it makes you feel like you're getting something,
It has electrolytes
and it
in it.
has electrolytes in it. I also do a little
Extra
extra
electrolyte.
electrolytes, just a one packet of like an LMNT. And I do that because I try to maintain my exercise routine as we go.
Right.
So I'm sweating as well,
A
throughout the
little bit
fast, a
almost.
little bit more than Doug would. So that is really helpful.
And there are a lot of nutrients that are very specific with some great research on that if you take those nutrients during a fast, they help. Glutathione being one of them, the master antioxidant of the body, but there are some very specific other ones, especially probiotics.
Mm,
Because you're taking the pressure off the digestive system, probiotics adhere better to the gut and the body can colonize them faster, which is the key to long-term helping with GLP-1 levels in the body. Your craving, your ghrelin, your leptin, dopamine, serotonin all come from the gut. And so it's a really important factor
yeah.
with it. So
And oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, working off of that, when it's time to eat after your fast, the best thing that I've found is to introduce, fermented foods
Fermented
right,
foods.
right as you're breaking your fast. So a lot of people like to do bone broth. I do not like bone broth, so I do not ever use bone broth. But sauerkraut is what I use first to break my
Bubbies,
fast. Uh-huh. I like Bubbies, but there's a number of different brands. You could do like a kombucha. That would
kombucha,
be really beneficial. And then after I've had something with some
kimchi for some people.
kimchi, after I've had something with fermentation, then I'll go into some like raw veggies. And so then I go into like or pickled beets,
Hmm.
pickles, that kind of thing, and then work my way into maybe a salad with, with a complex carbohydrate, something like quinoa would be
Right.
really beneficial, and then lean proteins. So
Yeah.
lean fish, and then like a healthy fat, some avocado in there, or some extra virgin olive
That's
oil.
really big.
Yeah, so all of those things, the thing that we want to stay away from is we're not trying to introduce sugar back into our diet, really in any form right at that point, like just a really nutrient dense food.
Right. And carbohydrates are okay if they're nutrient dense, like
Yes,
sweet potatoes,
sweet
vegetables, things
potatoes.
like that.
Yeah. So that's how we like to fast, and I think we get the most benefit.
Absolutely. And so some of the helps that we've done is we've created an app that's free that I'm highly, highly, highly recommend. And you just go, and the link will be in here, but you can just go to Healthy Habits Tracker on your app store. Doesn't matter whether Android or Apple, and go on the App Store, Healthy Habits Tracker, green, you'll see that. Click on it, download it. It'll ask for a code. If you have a health professional, get your code from them because there's extra benefits there. If not, just you can use our code. You can use OHS Doug
Hmm.
on there and put that code in the app that opens it up that allows all the features to be used for free. And one of the features when you sign in and get your, set up with it is the fasting feature at the bottom of the, the icons there. It'll say fasting. Click on it and it gives you the opportunity to do a 24, 48, or 72-hour fast. Click on one, set the date and time. And like Hilary said, maybe in the morning you woke up and you're like, you know what? I'm going to have my fast, but I started last night. Once you set your fast, you can go back in and reset the time,
Right.
like 8 hours earlier.
Yeah.
And that set the fast and do it. And as you go through all the things that Hilary mentioned today, celletophagy, dopamine reset, you can watch as it goes through and say, right now, your brain is cleansing and your celletophagy or growth hormone release, depending on how long you do the fast. And it keeps you motivated. It really does. There's times now that I'll look at my phone and on the Healthy Habits Tracker, and it's like, right now you're in, this phase that's helping with growth hormone. I'm like, cool, I want to stay in it, and it'll help you with it. And then when it's done, it kind of does a little celebration. That's one. And also when you download the Healthy Habits Tracker, you can purchase the fasting kit, or you can just go online to OHS. But now the Healthy Habits Tracker, you can purchase it from it. You purchase a fasting kit, you'll get a little box. It'll have all the nutrients to take at breakfast in a little custom pack, super simple. Has a glutathione to take at lunch. And then at dinner is another pack that's all probiotics,
Yeah.
right, to reset the
Right.
gut. And highly recommend that. And if your goal is to lose fat, we'll end with this. There is some phenomenal research showing that if you take L-carnitine during a fast, you can actually triple, 300% more your fat burn than not taking it. So if you're wanting to lose fat during the fast, when you order the fasting kit, an option with that is the carnitine. I'd add the carnitine to it and add it to the glutathione. Carnitine does not taste good. So when you do your glutathione, put your carnitine in it, and you can get the most benefit from your fast. Now, I don't enjoy fasting. I enjoy the benefits of fasting.
Same.
And so because we're that way, we love food, that when we do fast, we want to get the absolute most benefit possible for that amount of time. And so doing the fasting kit with it is really, in my mind, just essential, because I want to get the most out of it. And that way you won't have to do it maybe even as often.
Yeah.
And that. So how often should people fast?
So what's worked best for us is a 24-hour fast each month is great. And then if you're looking for something longer, maybe quarterly, do a 48 to 72-hour fast.
Like that a lot. Yeah, absolutely. And plan it based on your lifestyle. Like, you just know things happened, right? That you ate certain foods, drank certain things, or maybe we were talking earlier about a person went on a prescription and just for a short time because of an injury. Well, right after that, great time to do at least a 24-hour fast, because any type of prescription drug is going to leave residue on the cell, and we want to be able to get rid of that. So that's a great way to go about it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, hopefully that helps, and we encourage you to fast. It's something that really can help with your goals to reach optimal health and be more present today, especially during the holidays, being present.
Yeah. And speaking of the holidays, stay tuned for a few more episodes as we go. We're going to get into sugar and just its effects on the body and what it's doing to our brain and, all over. And then also, since we're in the holiday season, we'll kind of talk about the best treats that we can make and kind of substitute some different things out.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have a few cool guests coming up, so make sure you watch some great guests that I've been
excited about
getting for a long time. So as always, this is Miss Natural Olympia, 4 times, Hilary.
Oh, thanks. This is done before.
Once. All right.
All the time.
Stay hungry. Can't say keep chewing today.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry.